Howdy, I'm Chef Mick from Tony's Markets, and we're going to make the ultimate dish with cantaloupe. First, I'm going to show you how to cut one up. Usually there's one side that's not as good on a cantaloupe. I like to make sure I split it right there on that side. That way, if there's some bad parts, you can actually see them and get them out of there. We got this melon split. I'm going to go ahead and scoop out the inside. And I want to be careful not to cut too deep. The sweetest part of the melon is right next to the seeds. Scoop it all out, scrape it out. Great. Now the cantaloupe's flat. You want to have everything flat when you cut it. It's just a lot safer that way. So we're going to go ahead and cut the outside off first. If you're cubing a cantaloupe, this is by far the best way to do it. It's faster, it's easier, and you get less waste and less green on your slices. Cut it around there. Try not to do too much at once. If you take off too much at once, you'll just lose more cantaloupe. And no bad parts on that at all. Okay. Now that we've got it cleaned, we've got it split, we can just go ahead and slice into pieces. All right, now we got it all sliced. Let's put it into a bowl. All righty, we'll set this aside and we'll move on. So now we're going to prepare our meat. We're going to make a Jamaican jerk style pork, and that is so good. The sweet with the spicy, it's just a natural combination. So what I've started here is what we call pork prime. This is the prime rib piece of the pork loin. Now, you could use pork tenderloin if you wanted. It's a leaner cut, it's very tender. I like this because it's got that fat in there. That is just wonderful flavor, juiciness. But again, if you want something leaner, you could just use pork tenderloin. And then I've got some onions here. These are fresh Vidalia seed onions. We get them from Carl Musso in Pueblo, but you can actually grow these yourself if you do a real good job tilling the soil. And then to that we're going to add real, genuine Jamaican jerk seasoning from Boucher Brown's. This stuff is really amazing. I'm going to go ahead and scoop some in here. Now, the more of this you use, the spicier it's going to be. The recipe calls for 3 or 4 tablespoons. Okay, I got to put a little bit more in there than that. And to help spread it around a little bit, I'm going to use olive oil. And when I'm cooking, I prefer to use Piqual olive oil if possible. It just handles temperatures a little bit better. You could also use canola oil or peanut oil. Anything you want would be fine, really. All right, we're going to mix this all up. And just get the meat evenly coated with this pepper sauce. Now this pepper sauce is really hot. It's made with Scotch bonnet peppers and pimiento tree leaf and lots of different herbs and things that aren't really available, and they're all done fresh. So I've tried to make this before with local ingredients. It just doesn't work as good. You're better off getting the Boucher Browns. Okay, get that all mixed up. Now, ideally, I would put this in the fridge for 24 hours. But if you don't have 24 hours, that's okay. We could just go ahead and finish. Alrighty, so I've got my melons. I've got my skewers. We're going to go ahead and thread them on here. One tip about making shish kebabs is you don't want to pack things too tightly. You want to give that meat some room in between each piece so it'll actually have some ability to cook. Now you could fill the skewers all the way, or you can just do them a little bit and make them smaller. Just have a little bit more to go around. Now I know this might look kind of funky, pork and cantaloupe. Seems strange, doesn't it? And spiciness, but trust me, this combination is great. You've got the sweetness of the cantaloupe, which is the perfect foil for the spiciness. And then the fat, combined with the acidity, it's just magic. It's a magic combination that you're going to do over and over again. Okay, there we go. I think we've got enough. I'm going to go ahead and spray a grill. I like to preheat the grill, make sure it's nice and warm, and then give it a little spray of oil before I add the meats. About 5-6 minutes aside, maybe 3 different sides turning. We want to make sure this cooks to about 150 degrees internal on the pork. If you go a lot more than that, it can be dry. A touch of pink is okay with pork. It's safe. Okay, this has been cooking about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes. It's better to go slow and not cook it too fast. I'm going to pull them off and let them rest. They're just about done. So I'm going to pull them off and let them rest for a few minutes here. If you let them sit and rest, they're going to hold more juices inside the meat. And now we're ready to plate. Got together a nice combination. A dish like this would be great on top of rice, on top of salad, on top of steamed vegetables. And why not use all three? Put a couple on here. I'm going to give it a little sprinkle of fleur de sel. Fleur de sel, or flower of the salt, is just the first crystals of salt when they harvest salt from the seas. Wonderful stuff. Nothing else has been salted, so I had saved the salt for the end. And then I've got a nice local honey. This is Busy Bee Farms honey from Larkspur. Amazing stuff. Always get local honey if you can. Since this is spicy, we're just going to give it a little drizzle of honey. And if you really wanted to get fancy, you can melt a little honey and butter together and put it on top. Oh, that would be too naughty though. Got Jamaican jerk and Rocky Ford cantaloupe shish kebabs with a little drizzle of honey. Let's dig in. You can get all today's recipes and videos at digincolorado.com.